Troll Nation, welcome back to Telesplash Gaming. I'm Chris, and 2018 was a great year for the Sony PlayStation. I'm not saying Nintendo and Xbox didn't have great years, but in terms of exclusive games, Sony put out two games that were Game of the Year contenders, and you could only play them on the Sony PlayStation. And that's God of War and Spider-Man. And they also had a couple Yakuza games. Shadow of the Colossus came out with the HD graphics and updated visuals, so it was truly a monster last year. But 2018 is gone, we're into 2019, and I'm going to go over each console's exclusive games. So in this video, we're going to start off with Sony PlayStation and the exclusive games for 2019. So stick around and let's take a look. First up is Days Gone, coming out in April. And zombie games have always kind of had a special place in my heart. I don't know what it is about them, it's just fun, and frankly, maybe the fad is kind of getting old, but I still love playing them. And Days Gone is set in the Pacific Northwest, where Deacon St. John is battling freakers. But we know what freakers are, it's just a really fancy word for zombie at this point. You're traveling around this landscape on a motorcycle, it's an action-adventure survival horror game, and not only are you battling freakers that are humans, but animals can also turn into freakers. I don't know how exactly they get turned into them. It must be some sort of virus or disease. We've heard the same story over and over again. But what it comes down to is you're not going to have the same mumbling, bumbling zombies from years past. We're getting like the World War Z version. These guys are flying across the map, chasing you down, and coming at you. So you better put that motorcycle to use. So, with that being said, Days Gone will be out in April. If you're excited about zombies, you like riding motorcycles, you want to take a little stroll through the Pacific Northwest, then Days Gone is the big exclusive for Sony coming out here in a couple months. Next up is a game that I'm really not familiar with, and that's God Eater 3. Now, the original God Eater games came out on handhelds, so it's never been out on a console. This is the first console release for the God Eater series. So if you like the original games, you're going to get a bigger, badder, grander, better scale version of God Eater. If you're into Monster Hunter, this is kind of the anime style of Monster Hunter, where you're out killing monsters, you're crafting weapons and armor, and there is a demo available. And from what I've heard, people are a little disappointed in the demo and said it's definitely not going to fill that Monster Hunter void. But they still have time to fix a few of those wrongs, and hopefully by the time it releases, it'll be a pretty cool game. But it is exclusive to the Sony PlayStation. If you're a fan of the Yakuza series, the team behind that is creating a whole new game called Judgement. Now, Judgement follows a lawyer turned investigative detective in Japan, and he is investigating these murders and trying to solve the mystery behind it. There isn't a whole lot of information as of yet, but it is a 2019 release date. It sounds pretty fun. I'm all about the murder mysteries, I love the TV shows, and any game I can find like that kind of piques my interest. So if you are looking for that murder mystery game with the Yakuza style, this might be a really good game to check out. Talk about fan service and fan loyalty. Shenmue III is coming out in August, only because fans started a GoFundMe basically. They crowdfunded a campaign to get this thing off the ground. The first couple games did not sell well, and this was not supposed to happen. But now, we are getting Shenmue III. We get to continue the quest for vengeance of Ryo Hazuki as he finds the murderer of his father and travels all over Japan looking for clues. The HD remasters of 1 and 2 are actually available. So if you want to catch up on the series, you can get it for the Xbox and the PlayStation 4. It is available, and Shenmue 3 is coming out exclusively for the PS4. And I cannot wait to check it out. Only a few more months, end of summer, we're getting after it. Don't worry, indie fans, we got you covered too. If you're a fan of Spelunky, then by the end of the year, you're going to have its well-deserved sequel. Spelunky 2 is coming out. It's going to have some fresh new faces. But you know what? You're still going to have that frustratingly difficult gameplay. You're going to die a lot, but it's super satisfying, and it's a highly addictive game. So if you're a fan of the original, Spelunky 2 is coming out before the end of the year, so get prepped. Next up is kind of an off-the-wall, unique puzzle painting game called Concrete Genie. You take on the role as a young boy named Ash, who is being bullied and had his notebook and pages torn out and strewn all over the city. You go around with your magical paintbrush and you can bring your creations to life. It has really unique visuals, the backstory makes you feel for them, and I think this is going to be a pretty fun little hit when it gets released. So that covers games that are definitely coming out in 2019. Now, we have a few games on here that might come out towards the end of 2019 or early 2020. They don't have a definitive release date yet. And you know what? You've heard of these games. They're the heavy hitters, so we're going to get right into it. Final Fantasy VII, the remake. Is there really anything I need to say about this game? If you haven't played Final Fantasy VII, it's probably not a great time to pick it up. The visuals are absolute garbage now. The storyline, I feel like, is epic. One of my favorite games of all time. But going back and playing it is so tough. The visuals on the PlayStation 1 were so blocky. It was garbage, and I wouldn't play it if I hadn't had a chance to experience it as a kid. So, if you haven't played Final Fantasy VII, wait for the remake. It may come out the end of the year. There's also a good chance it might be next year. So don't get your hopes up, but I want to put it on here. Next up is another GOAT game on my list, and that's The Last of Us 2. Now, it may not be coming out this year, there is a chance, but E3 got us so hyped for this game. If you haven't played the original, it is still one of the best games on the PlayStation 4 you can play, and definitely one of the best games on the PlayStation 3. The storyline was incredible, the voice acting was insane, and if you haven't played it, you've got to give it a go before the sequel comes out. I hope it comes out in 2019. Nothing's guaranteed. It could get pushed back to the end of 2020. But right now, there's still a good chance it could come out, so I'm putting it on this list. The next game up is one that we don't even know anything about, and it has a ton of hype. And that's Death Stranding. The trailers are bizarre. We don't even know what they mean. We do know Norman Reedus is in it. Is he the main character? Heck, we could be a bad guy for all I know. Who knows what this game is really about? But Hideo Kojima doesn't make garbage. He could take a game that is absolute trash, touch it, and all of a sudden it's a 10 out of 10, and it probably plays better. He just has that kind of magic when it comes to gaming. And frankly, I can't wait to see what this looks like. It has a ton of hype, and nobody even knows what the game's about for the most part. But Death Stranding is definitely one to look out for. And again, I don't know if it's coming out this year. They say it could, but it could be 2020, and I'm honestly thinking 2020. Next up is a game that probably won't come out this year, but maybe it will, and that's Ghost of Tsushima. Tsushima? Anyway, Sucker Punch has moved on from Infamous, and they're going to 1274, Japan, as a samurai who is fighting to repel the Khan invasion. And you have to go into your ghost status. You have these abilities that turn you into like a ghost of sorts, where you can sneak around and do your stealth gameplay, and then BAM, dummy! Take them out. And that's why this game looks cool. And Sucker Punch has some really, really good games out. I love Infamous. The gameplay is super smooth, and I think they're going to incorporate that right into this kind of Japanese samurai game. So it looks pretty cool. Again, will it come out this year? I don't know, man, but I sure hope it does. Well, ladies and gents, that's going to be the end of the list. Of the last 4 games, which one do you hope comes out in 2019? For me, I can't pick one. I love Final Fantasy VII. I love The Last of Us. It's probably one of those 2 for me. I'm also going to be doing the Nintendo Switch and the Xbox One in the next few weeks. So I'm going to cover all the bases, all the exclusives for all the major consoles. With that being said, guys, thank you for all the support. Please leave me a like. If you love the content, smash the subscribe button. I greatly appreciate it. We're getting close to that 500 sub count. But don't forget, keep rolling, keep trolling. We'll see you guys in a week.